Good morning. Overwhelming. Thank you for that greeting. It's time. The hour of convening has arrived, and the Senate will now come to order. This time I'd ask that all unauthorized persons exit the chamber. We have more doorkeepers than senators right now. Chair, I'd like to recognize the senator from the 53rd. It's been a few days.
Good morning, Mr. President. It's a fine, cold, chilly, kind of mountainous day here in our state capitol. Moment in time, in 1985, Phil Necro was inducted to the Georgia Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame. He pitched his 48 years old, and he is known for his famous knuckleball. The journal's been read and found to be correct, Mr. President.
Certainly this weather reminds you of home. Sir, there's a microphone in your hand.
It does, Mr. President, but it's not cold to me. It's normal weather for us mountain boys.
It's great to hear. Is there objection to dispensing with the reading of the journal? The chair hears none, and the reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there objection to the confirmation of the journal? Chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. All senators who have bills and resolutions, please bring them to the Secretary's desk at this time. Mr. Secretary, first reading of Senate bills and resolutions, please.
Senate Bill 154 by Senator James of the 35th, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 6 of Chapter 3 of Title 44 of the OCGA relating to property owners associations.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 155 by Senators Gooch of the 51st and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Part 4 of Article 1 of Chapter 8 of Title 40 of the OCGA relating to horns, exhaust systems, mirrors.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 156 by Senators Harbin of the 16th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Title 34 of the OCGA relating to labor-industrial relations so as to provide for the appointment, oath, bond, power.
Insurance and labor.
Senate Bill 157 by Senators Cowser of the 46th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Part 2 of Article 15 of Chapter 1 of Title 10 of the OCGA relating to the Fair Business Practices Act.
Agriculture and Consumer Affairs.
Senate Bill 158 by Senator Jones of the 10th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Part 4 of Article 6 of Chapter 3 of Title 12 of the OCGA relating to the Stone Mountain Memorial Association.
Economic Development.
Senate Bill 159 by Senators Gooch of the 51st and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the OCGA relating to elementary and secondary education so as to revise
Education and Youth.
Senate Bill 160 by Senators Cowser of the 46th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Title 9 of the OCGA relating to civil practice so as to change certain provisions relating to the tolling limitations for tort actions while criminal prosecution is pending. Senate Bill 161 by Senators Jackson of the 41st and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 1 of Title 42 of the OCGA relating to general provisions for
Public Safety.
Senate Bill 162 by Senators Beach of the 21st and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 15-2-6 of the OCGA relating to the number of judges of Superior Court.
Appropriations.
Senate Bill 163 by Senator Strickland of the 17th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Part 2 of Article 3 of Chapter 3 of Title 38 of the OCGA relating to judicial emergencies so as to
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 164 by Senators Huff-Settler of the 52nd and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 15-11-471, Title 16, and Code Section.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 165 by Senators Gooch of the 51st and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 40 of the OCGA relating to equipment and inspection of motor vehicles so as to exempt fully autonomous vehicles from.
Transportation.
Senate Bill 166 by Senators Cowser of the 46th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Title 15 of the OCGA relating to court so as to require certain procedures for disqualification of jurors to provide for related matters.
Insurance and labor.
Senate Bill 167 by Senators Orrock of the 36th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 47 of the OCGA relating to the Employees Retirement System of Georgia so as to provide for semi-annual post-retirement benefits adjustments for all benefactors.
Retirement.
Senate Bill 168 by Senators Walker III of the 20th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Part 1 of Article 7 of Chapter 2 of Title 14 of the OCGA.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 169 by Senators Walker III of the 20th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 10 of Title 13 of the OCGA relating to general provisions regarding contracts for public works.
Insurance and labor.
Senate Bill 170 by Senators Jackson of the 2nd and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 24 of Title 33 of the OCGA relating to insurance generally so as to require health benefit policies.
Insurance and labor.
Senate Bill 171 by Senator Robertson of the 29th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Title 16 of the OCGA relating to crimes and offenses so as to provide for enhanced penalties for certain offenses committed during an unlawful assembly.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 172 by Senators Butler of the 55th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 7 of Chapter 4 of Title 49 of the OCGA relating to medical assistance generally so as to provide for the authorization.
Appropriations.
Senate Bill 173 by Senators Davenport of the 44th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 49-4-159 of the OCGA relating to Medicaid coverage for lactation and postpartum care.
Appropriations.
Senate Bill 174 by Senators Gooch of the 51st and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 7 of Title 17 of the OCGA relating to general provisions regarding bonds and recognizances so as to authorize appointed judges.
Public safety.
Senate Bill 175 by Senators Mullis of the 53rd and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the OCGA relating to elections and primaries generally so as to
Ethics.
provide. Senate Bill 176 by Senators Mullis of the 53rd and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the OCGA relating to elections and primaries generally.
Ethics.
Senate Bill 177 by Senators Mullis of the 53rd and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the OCGA relating to elections and primaries generally so as to revise the definition of absentee electors to provide for
Ethics.
reason. Senate Bill 178 by Senators Mullis of the 53rd and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the OCGA relating to elections and primaries generally so as to provide
Ethics.
that. Senate Bill 179 by Senators Al of the 48th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Part 5 of Article 4 of Chapter 11 of Title 16 of the OCGA relating to Brady law regulations so as to require
Public
universal.
safety.
Senate Bill 180 by Senators Jordan of the 6th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 12-9-7 of the OCGA relating to permit required application issuance.
Natural resources.
Senate Bill 181 by Senators Jordan of the 6th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 4 of Title 33 of the OCGA relating to general provisions regarding insurance so as to reduce out-of-pocket costs of
Health and Human
consumers.
Services.
Senate Resolution 100 by Senators Gooch of the 51st and others, a resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution so as to provide for statewide grand juries, to provide for the jurisdiction, powers, and duties.
Ethics.
Senate Resolution 102 by Senators Gooch of the 51st and others, a resolution creating the Georgia Commission on E-commerce and Freight Infrastructure Funding and for other purposes.
Transportation.
Senate Resolution 105 by Senators Jordan of the 6th and others, a resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution of Georgia so as to provide that a primary obligation of the state of Georgia is the provision of quality public
Education and youth.
Senate Resolution 106 by Senators Jordan of the 6th and others, a resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution of the state of Georgia so as to provide that the General Assembly may provide for the allocation of certain funds to the creation of continuing fund for the dedication of specific revenues and a program of public funding for campaigns for membership in the General Assembly.
Rules.
Senate Resolution 107 by Senators Jordan of the 6th and others, a resolution creating the Senate Comprehensive Approach to Family Leave Policies within.
Rules.
This completes the order, Mr. President.
First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions, please.
House Bill 67 by Representatives Martin of the 49th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 16 of Title 50 of the OCGA relating to general provisions relative to public property so as to extend automatic repeals of certain
Higher
provisions.
education.
House Bill 129 by Representative Watson of the 172nd and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 16 of Title 15 of the OCGA relating to general provisions regarding share.
State and local government general.
House Bill 208 by Representative Chokas of the 138th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 4 of Title 21 of the OCGA relating to holidays and observances so as to provide that the second Wednesday.
Veterans, military, and homeland security.
House Bill 246 by Representatives Watson of the 172nd and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 5 of Title 40 of the
Public
OCGA.
safety.
This completes the order, Mr. President.
Mr. Secretary, can you read reports of standing committees, please?
Mr. President, the Senate Committee on State and Local Governmental Operations has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 196, do pass. House Bill 211, do pass. House Bill 225, do pass. House Bill 242, do pass. House Bill 103, do pass. House Bill 162, do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Anderson of the 24th.
You got second readers? Mr. Secretary, will you read bills and resolutions for the second time, please?
Senate Bill 88 by Senator Goodman of the 8th and others, education. Georgia Teacher of the Year shall be invited to serve as advisor ex officio to the State Board of Education provide. This completes the order, Mr. President.
All right, it's now time for a morning roll call. Are there any motions to excuse for the roll call? Chair recognizes the minority whip.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 43rd for business outside of the Capitol.
Without objection, the senator from the 43rd is excused. The chair recognizes the senator from the 33rd.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, everybody. I'll ask for unanimous consent to excuse the following senators from the 32nd, 35th, 36th, and 38th.
Without objection, the senators from the 32nd, 35th, 36th, and 38th are excused. Chair recognizes the senator from the 28th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for unanimous consent to excuse the senators from the 25th and 27th for business outside the Capitol.
Without objection, the senators from the 25th and the 27th are excused. Are there any additional motions to excuse? The chair sees none. Secretary will call the roll. The senators signify your presence by voting the yea switch. The secretary will unlock the machine. Have all senators voted their attendance? Have all senators voted their attendance? Couple still matriculating in the hallway. Have all senators voted their attendance? All right, hallway clear. Mr. Secretary, please close the machine. It's now time for a morning devotional, and I'd ask that all senators please take your seats and cease all audible conversations. Doorkeepers, please secure the chamber at this time. I'd like to recognize the senator from the 2nd to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance and to introduce to us our chaplain of the day.
Members, colleagues of the Senate, let's rise for our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now our state flag. I pledge allegiance to the Georgia flag and the principles which it stands, wisdom, justice, moderation. Members of the Senate, good morning. We indeed have a treat this morning. Bishop Reginald Jackson, presiding prelate of the 6th Episcopal District of the AME Church. He is a genuine change agent of the AME Church, which encompasses over 500 churches in the state of Georgia. He was first elected and consecrated the 132nd Bishop of the AME Church in 2012. He has served as chairman of the Social Action Committee for the AME Church and is currently the chairman of the Commission on Colleges and Universities and Seminaries. Bishop Jackson has also served as the executive director of the Black Ministers Council of New Jersey, representing more than 700 churches in the state of New Jersey. Bishop Jackson has played a major role in promoting equity and civil rights across the state of Georgia including his efforts in exposing many within impoverished communities to the voting process and the many ways their voices can be heard in the political process in the state of Georgia. Bishop Jackson was also a powerful voice that led to the change and charge to put hate crime legislation in effect in the state of Georgia, giving higher penalties to those who commit crimes of hate. Bishop Jackson is a change agent. He has had numerous awards, but what he is mostly is a man that follows Christ. What he is mostly is a man that believes in our Holy Spirit. What he is a Christian soldier in the pursuit of God's grace for not only this state, but this nation. He is married to Christy Davis Jackson and the father of Regina Jackson and Seth Jackson, a man of God, a man of service, but more importantly, a friend to Georgia. I present to you Bishop Reginald Jackson.
Thank you, Senator Jackson. To Lieutenant Governor and to all of you, my sisters and my brothers, and let me pay special acknowledgement to my friend, Representative Calvin Smiley. Thank you for being here this morning. Let me thank Senator Jackson for the invitation to come and to lead this devotional. There is a Bible verse which crosses my mind almost every day and which is shaped and guided my ministry, and I just want to lift that word up to the senators here today. It's found in what we call the Lord's Prayer, and they are words which are often overlooked and seem insignificant. But in that prayer, Jesus utters these words: "Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven." I am convinced that the great challenge and responsibility of those who rest under this gold dome is to be about kingdom work. And even though it might seem impossible and even seem a utopia, at least our challenge ought to be about kingdom work, that God's kingdom comes on earth as it is in heaven. God's kingdom is just. God's kingdom is righteous. God's kingdom is one where people are able to enjoy the quality of life that God desires for all of his people to have. It's my prayer that those who preside under this dome will be about kingdom work, saying that Georgia is just, that Georgia is fair, that in fact Georgia is righteous. These are some troubling and challenging times in which we live. And it's my hope that in the midst of all of this polarization and division, that if no other state but Georgia finds a way to unify itself by focusing on kingdom work. And that's why each of you are important. John Maxwell, in his book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, makes a statement which will be eternally true. He says, everything rises or falls on leadership. However Georgia is, will be because of your leadership. Whether Georgia progresses or regresses will be because of your leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Let me conclude by lifting up the words of one of Georgia's most distinguished sons. Dr. Martin Luther King said these words, and they are extremely appropriate for the environment in which we find ourselves. And they are extremely appropriate for each of you as you make decisions impacting every citizen of Georgia. Dr. King said, the ultimate measure of a man is not how he is in times of convenience and comfort, but in times of challenge and controversy. For in such times, expediency asks, is it popular? Vanity asks, is it safe? Cowardice asks, is it popular? But conscience asks, is it right? As you make decisions which impact the citizens of Georgia, I hope every decision you make, you will ask this question, is it right? As it relates to us in the battle against COVID-19, every decision we make, is it right? Decisions on the state budget, is it right? Decisions as it relates to voting, is it right? In these challenging and controversial times, the ultimate question must always be, not is it popular, not is it safe, but is it right? Let us pray. Our Father and our God, for the blessings of this day, we give you thanks. And for the opportunity to be of service to you. We ask now your blessings upon the state senate of the state of Georgia. Bless each of us individually, then bless us collectively. Give us fresh faith and courage for the living and for the facing of these days. Grant us wisdom so that in every decision we make, we will seek to promote your kingdom on earth. Now, Lord, bless the citizenry which we have been blessed to serve. May we be a blessing to them by the service that is rendered by these senators. Now, Lord, please bless the state of Georgia. Grant Georgia what it stands in need of. And may Georgia be a light to the nation so that we might move forward and promote your kingdom on earth. In your name we ask it all. Amen.
All right, the Senate will come back to order. Are there any unanimous consents? The chair sees none. Does any senator wish to rise on a point of personal privilege? Chair sees none. You have a consent calendar of privileged resolutions before you. Does any senator wish to remove a resolution from the consent calendar? Is there objection to adoption of the resolutions on the consent calendar? The chair hears none, and the resolutions on the consent calendar are adopted. Are there any motions to withdraw and commit? Chair sees none. You have a consent calendar of local bills before you. Mr. Secretary, are there any objections filed to any bill on the local consent calendar?
Mr. President, there are no objections filed.
Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the Committee on State and Local Government Operations, which is favorable to the passage of the bills on the local consent calendar? Chair hears none, and the report of the committee is agreed to. Questions on the passage of the bills on the local consent calendar. All those in favor will vote yea. Opposed, nay. The Secretary will unlock the machine. Have all senators voted? Have all senators voted? Hallway clear? Mr. Secretary, please close the machine. On the passage of the bills on the local consent calendar, the yeas are 47, the nays are 0, and the bills, having received the requisite constitutional majority, are therefore passed. For what purpose does the senator from the second rise?
Mr. President, I ask for unanimous consent to excuse the gentleman from the 15th. The senator from the 15th for business outside the chamber.
Without objection, the senator from the 15th is excused. All right, bear with me here. We're going to go through the confirmation of the governor's appointments, and there's quite a process here, so bear with me and pay close attention. Chair recognizes the senator from the 45th for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for unanimous consent that confirmation of the governor's appointments be taken from the table.
Mr. Secretary, can you please read?
The Committee on Assignments has recommended that the appointments made by the governor be confirmed as submitted, with the exception of the first two names on the list, to wit, Honorable Richard Hyde and Honorable Bob Barr, who are currently serving terms of office on the Judicial Qualifications Committee and therefore do not require Senate confirmation. This completes the order.
The senator from the 45th has asked for unanimous consent to take the confirmation of the governor's appointments from the table. Is there objection? The chair hears none, and they are removed from the table. Chair continues to recognize the senator from the 45th for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for unanimous consent that the reading of the names of the governor's appointments to various boards, authorities, commissions be dispensed with, since they have been printed and placed on the desk.
The complete list of those appointments are on each of your desks. Is there objection to dispensing with the reading of the names of the governor's appointments? The chair hears none, and the reading of the names of appointments is dispensed with. Mr. Did you already read the? Secretary's already read the committee report. The chair recognizes the senator from the 45th to speak to the governor's list of appointments submitted for confirmation to this chamber.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the Senate, Georgia law requires that the Senate confirm a number of appointments that the governor has made to various boards, commissions, agencies, and authorities. You have on your desk an 8-page list of appointments submitted by the governor for confirmation this year. In reviewing this list, the Committee on Assignments found that the first two names on page 1, Mr. Richard Hyde and Mr. Bob Barr, did not need to be on the list because they were confirmed by the Senate last year and are already serving their terms on Judicial Qualification Commission. That is why the Committee on Assignments recommended that the list of appointments be confirmed as submitted with the exception of those two names. In addition, we found two other clerical errors that we want to correct out of abundance of caution. They are essentially duplicate appointments with different end dates to the terms, so we wanted to correct that. The first of these related to Julianne Busby, found on page 4 of the list in front of you. You will find her correct appointment to the Board of Registration of Professional Engineers is listed on page 7, so we want to simply remove that appointment on page 4 to avoid conflict. The next item related to appointment of Don Anthony Grantham Jr. to the Georgia Student Financing Commission, which is found on page 6. His correct appointment is found on page 7, so we want to simply remove that appointment on page 6 to avoid any conflict. We have vetted these with the governor's staff, and they are in agreement with removing these appointments from the list of confirmation. Mr. President, when I yield the well, I'll return to my desk and make a motion for these corrections. I will remove Julianne Busby from page 4 from the list of appointments and Don Anthony Grantham from page 6 from the list of appointments. With that, Mr. President, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
You have no questions.
Mr. President, I yield the well.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 45th for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the name of Julianne C. Busby be removed from page 4 from the list of appointments, and the name of Don Anthony Grantham be removed from page 6 of the list of appointments.
Senator from the 45th has moved that the name of Julian C. Busby be removed from page 4 of the list of appointments, and the name of Don Anthony Grantham be removed from page 6 of the list of appointments. Is there objection? The chair hears none, and it is so. Chair recognizes this. For what purpose does the senator from the 17th rise?
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent to be excused from voting on confirmation of the governor's appointments pursuant to Senate Rule 5-1.8D.
Without objection, the senator has that right, and the record's duly noted. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the appointments? Or remove a name from the list? Chair sees none. We will now proceed to a vote. The first question is on the motion from the senator from the 45th to remove Julian C. Busby from page 4 of the list of appointments and Don Anthony Grantham from page 6. Is there objection? Chair hears none. Julian C. Busby is now removed from page 4 of the list of appointments. Don Anthony Grantham is removed from page 6 on the list of appointments. The next question is agreeing to the report of the Committee on Assignments, which removes Honorable Richard Hyde and the Honorable Bob Barr from the list of appointments. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee? The chair hears none, and the report of the committee is agreed to. Chair recognizes the majority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate confirm the governor's appointments as submitted with the exceptions of the following. Honorable Richard Hyde, listed on page 1. Honorable Bob Barr, listed on page 1. Honorable Julianne C. Busby, listed on page 4, and Honorable Don Anthony Grantham, listed on page 6.
The majority leader has moved that the Senate confirm the governor's appointments as submitted. All those in favor of the motion signify by voting yea. Opposed, nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. Have all senators voted? Have all senators voted? Mr. Secretary, please close the machine. On the confirmation of the governor's appointments, the yeas are 47, the nays are 2, and the governor's appointments, as amended, are therefore confirmed. Now, the chair just heard a rumor that it might be the senator from the 3rd's birthday. Is that an accurate rumor? It's not. Is it close? It is. It's not a good way to start out. Happy birthday, Senator. Chair recognizes the pro tem.
Thank you, Mr. President. In pointing out the senator from the 3rd's birthday, I thought if it pleases the chair, I'd share just a couple of words on the senator from the 3rd that came to my attention over the last few days. I've shared it with some folks this morning, but I wanted to share it with the entire chamber. And it's a note that was written by her daughter, Leslie, and she says of my mom, she's always given 100% to everyone around her. She always goes above and beyond to reach a best resolution for all those involved. My journey with her started 50 years ago when she unselfishly decided to adopt an unwanted baby from a 14-year-old girl. That baby was me. My birth announcement said that I wasn't expected, but I was selected. I watched her as a child become the first woman, not only in our community, but in the entire United States of America, become the first woman president of the Navy League. She taught me how to be a business person, how to stand up for what I believe in, and how to love others. And I just thought that was a beautiful tribute from a daughter to a mom. And Mr. President, can we sing happy birthday? We'd have to suspend the rules, wouldn't we? I don't want to push my luck.
We can wish her a happy birthday.
Can we wish her a happy birthday? Happy birthday.
That was awesome. Chair continues to recognize the pro tem.
The senator from the 14th points out to me that I made a grown woman cry twice in 2 days.
Is that a record?
Our life.
I didn't think that was a record. All right, we're going to move on to the rules calendar. Mr. Secretary, can you please read the caption to Senate Bill 87?
Senate Bill 87 by Senator Rett of the 33rd and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 3 of Chapter 7 of Title 48 of the OCGA relating to tax returns and furnishings of information so as to authorize Georgia taxpayers to make certain voluntary contributions through the income tax payment and refund process to aid and assist service-disabled veterans. The Senate Committee on Rules recommends that this bill do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Mullis of the 53rd.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 33rd to speak to Senate Bill 87.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. President, my fellow senators, colleagues, friends, and y'all. Today I'm here to ask for your support for a bill that is titled after one of our native senators and favorite senators, Senator Jack Hill. Appropriately, it's called the Senator Jack Hill Veteran Act. What this does is that on your state income tax refund, you can donate up to $1 or more to support disabled veterans throughout the state of Georgia. The late Senator Jack Hill and I, we used to sit here every day and go over and scrub this bill. he would give me instructions on how to structure the bill, and I would say, yes, sir, being the good NCO I am, and him being the good military officer he was, and I would go and try and follow his suggestions. I didn't realize that the night before he passed, we were on the phone together, and then the next morning, when I woke up, I found out he had transitioned, and so therefore, I thought it'd be appropriate to name this bill after him. Except for the new senators, Senator Jack Hill has helped every one of us out in here when we needed something put into the budget. I remember a number of times going to him and he would ask him to put something in the budget and he would grit his teeth like this. Everybody's seen that before, and he would work with us. So basically, this is revenue neutral. It doesn't affect any revenue to the state, and also the Department of Revenue, who is going to administer it, they've scrubbed the bill and they said it's good to go. I want to thank the senator from the 32nd for working closely with me on this bill. We've been able to collaborate on a number of bills working together, and we're from that jewel of all the counties of the state of Georgia, Cobb County. Mr. President, I encourage everybody to support this bill. It's a good bill. It's after one of our favorite senators, and if there's no questions, I will yield the well.
Senator, you have no questions.
Thank you.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against Senate Bill 87? The chair sees none. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none, and the main question is ordered. The questions on the passage of the bill. All those in favor of the bill vote yea. Opposed, nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. Have all senators voted? Have all senators voted? Mr. Secretary, please close the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 50, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. There's not enough accolades and remembrance for Jack Hill in this chamber. Mr. Secretary, can you please read the caption of Senate Bill 27?
Senate Bill 27 by Senator Thompson of the 14th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 43-14-15 of the OCGA relating to certain military certifications that entitle persons to obtain certain professional licenses so as to extend the time a member of the military has to qualify for the issuance of a license or certification as electrical contractor, plumber, conditioned air contractor. The Senate Committee on Veterans, Military, and Homeland Security recommends that this bill do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 14th to speak to Senate Bill 27.
Thank you, Mr. President. We've been passing many bills here to try and reinforce the fact that we're a military-friendly state. And SB 27 is just another one of those. Currently, as members transition out of the military with licenses, they have 180 days for those to be recognized to convert to civilian. All this simply does is extend that period to 2 years. If there are no questions, Mr. President, I'll yield the well.
You have no questions. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against Senate Bill 27? The chair sees none. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? The chair hears none, and the main question is ordered. The question is on the passage of the bill. All those in favor of the bill will vote yea. Opposed, nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. Have all senators voted? Have all senators voted? The hallway looks clear. Have all senators voted? Mr. Secretary, please close the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 49, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Secretary, can you please read the caption of Senate Bill 43?
Senate Bill 43 by Senator Brass of the 28th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 33-6-4 of the OCGA relating to the enumeration of unfair methods and competition and unfair or deceptive acts or practices and penalties so as to provide that certain actions by healthcare insurers offering eye care benefit plans constitute unfair trade practices. The Senate Committee on Insurance and Labor recommends that this bill do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Burke of the 11th. Committee on Insurance and Labor offers the following substitute to Senate Bill 43. To amend Code Section 33-6-4 of the OCGA relating to enumeration of unfair methods of competition and unfair or deceptive acts or practices and penalties so as to provide that certain actions by healthcare insurers offering eye care benefit plans constitute unfair trade practices. This completes the order, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 28th to speak to Senate Bill 43.
Thank you, Mr. President. Bring to you Senate Bill 43. And I want to take you back to a time of 4 years ago. I presented my very first bill on the Senate floor. And that bill had to do with hearing aids. And when it left this chamber, there were 0 no votes. And it went over to the House, and every bit of that bill, every word except for one word, it was the word "or" on line 16 of that bill, was the only word that remained. And it came back as the optometrist shot in the eye bill. And it was right then I got to see very up close and personal the fight between optometrists and ophthalmologists. Well, today, in a sense of unity, I bring you Senate Bill 43, where optometrists and ophthalmologists have come together in one accord, and we're all singing Kumbaya. What this bill does is simply outlaws, prohibits any mandate from an insurance company that forces a discount on any item, whether it's a service or a product, that is simply not covered. So if you look at lines 43, section B there, simply what that does is prohibits the forcing or the mandating of that discount. Section C simply prohibits mandating a reimbursement schedule on non-covered services. Section D says they can't market such discount. And Section E simply says they can't force or encourage a discount. And the main problem we have is insurance have come in and through the process and through the contract process, they've forced our optometrists and our ophthalmologists to offer a discount on say a second pair of glasses when they're not even going to offer, or they're not even going to cover that service or cover that product. So this simply says they cannot do it anymore, and that's what the bill does. With that, I'll take any questions.
Senator, you have no questions.
Thank you. I appreciate your favorable consideration of Senate Bill 43, and I yield the well.
Any other senator wish to speak for or against Senate Bill 43? The chair sees none. The question's on the adoption of the committee substitute. Is there objection to adoption of the committee substitute? Chair hears none, and the committee substitute is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? The chair hears none, and the main question is ordered. Questions on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor of the bill vote yea. Opposed, nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. Have all senators voted? Mr. Secretary, please close the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 50, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed by substitute. Mr. Secretary, please read the caption as Senate Bill 45.
Senate Bill 45 by Senator Thompson of the 14th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 1 of Title 43 of the OCGA relating to general provisions of professions and businesses so as to provide for individuals who move to the state and establish residency to obtain a license by endorsement to practice certain professions and occupations in this state. The Senate Committee on Regulated Industries and Utilities recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Cowser of the 46th. Regulated Industries and Utilities Committee offers the following substitute to Senate Bill 45. To amend Chapter 1 of Title 43 of the OCGA relating to general provisions of professions and businesses so as to provide for individuals who move to this state and establish residency to obtain a license by endorsement to practice. This completes the order.
Mr. Secretary, can you please read the amendments? We have 2 amendments.
Senator Thompson of the 14th and others offers the following amendment. Amend the Senate Committee on Regulated Industries and Utilities substitute to Senate Bill 45 by replacing line 40 with the following. Is in good standing in such other state and is not the subject of an investigation being conducted by a professional licensing board or other board in such other state.
Amendment number 2 offered by Kirkpatrick.
Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd and others offers the following amend the Senate Committee on Regulated Industries and Utilities substitute Senate Bill 45 by inserting on line 34 between endorsement and 2 on line 34 the following. For any license other than those provided to dentists under Chapter 11 or to physicians or osteopaths under Chapter 34 of this title. This completes the order.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 14th to speak to Senate Bill 45 and his amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our state continues to be the #1 state to do business in the country. As we do that, we have many needs within our state. And what this bill seeks to do is to be able to recognize individuals moving and establishing residency in our state, the licenses of which they bring with them. It doesn't supersede the boards. It mirrors what some other states have done. Other states have done it through reciprocity. What we're seeking to do is restrict that and allow the boards to be able to still govern the way they see appropriate. Mr. President, if it's all right, I'd like to go ahead and speak to one amendment that I've introduced. And that is, it's in good standing in which such other states and is not the subject of investigation being conducted by a professional licensing board or the board in other states. When we were moving through committee, there were some concerns that were brought up about what would happen with individuals that maybe not be in good standings. And the chairman from the 18th presented that concern to me. This amendment addresses that concern. There's another amendment that's been brought forward that the senator from the 32nd had some concerns about, and I support both of those amendments. Mr. President, if there's no questions, I'll yield the well.
You have a question. The chair recognizes the minority whip for a question.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the senator yield?
I will.
Yes. On the amendment number 1, I believe, it talks about being in good standing and not the subject of investigation. Under this particular bill and the amendment, would this allow us to know about previous investigations that may have taken place or previous disciplinary actions that may have taken place against this applicant?
The intent of this amendment is to be permissive in that the boards can establish that themselves. And so if that's the will of the board to seek that, then the answer would be yes.
But it would have to come through, I guess, other regulation, but not through this bill. Is that correct?
This is establishing the opportunity for the boards to establish what those rules will be.
Okay, thank you.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 1st for a question.
Thank you, Mr. President. Does the senator yield?
I will.
Is it not true that we agreed that if there are changes that need to go forward, just like any bill in this chamber, we'll continue to work forward, improve, and perfect as needed? But these 2 amendments are great additions, and we fully support those, and thank you for bringing this.
Do you continue to yield?
I'll yield for one more question.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 42nd for a question.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the senator yield?
I will.
Thank you, Senator. First question is, Amendment 2 has got me thinking there are many other professions not enumerated, and so I don't understand why, if we need an amendment to talk about doctors, physicians, and osteopaths, might there be other professions that would need some attention in this bill? I mean, being an attorney, I'm thinking about the bar, the State Bar of Georgia, and other entities where this sort of thing is a big issue.
Senator, the bar and other professions like this are excluded from this because they have their own way of being able to establish that. So,
Senator, can you point to, in the bill where the bar is excluded?
I don't know specifically where it is in the bill, but I'll certainly take a look. But the bar has their own rules and regulations on how someone will be able to pass, and you have to pass the bar in our state to be able to do this. This is simply, when we provided this amendment in here for the exclusions for the physicians, there were individuals that felt like we didn't necessarily need to do that, but certainly to be able to appease and or support and make confident those in that profession, we added that amendment.
Does the senator continue to yield for questions?
I think he's looking, Mr. President, for the provision that I was asking about.
Senator, I don't specifically see that in there, but again, I believe as you being an attorney, you realize that we would not be able to extend a license to be able to practice law in our state without it going through the state bar.
Thank you, Senator. Will you yield for one more question?
One more question.
Thank you. You mentioned earlier in your presentation about some boards have done this, have initiated this concept through reciprocity, but we would allow boards to do what they do. I'm paraphrasing what you said earlier. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
Sure, I may have misspoken. There are some states that have already adopted similar practices, and they use reciprocity where it's much more open. We're trying to be much more restrictive and to accomplish the same thing by allowing boards to do this versus just accepting as reciprocity.
Thank you.
I'll yield the well, Mr. President.
Senator has yielded the well. The chair recognizes the senator from the 32nd to speak to amendment number 2.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 45 deals with expedited licensing for everyone, not just military spouses. We added the expedited licensure language for military spouses last year via the Veterans, Military, and Homeland Security Committee. This bill is broader and went through regulated industries. I support the concept of occupational licensing reform, but this amendment is designed to protect patients by making sure that our medical and dental boards have the ability to thoroughly vet applicants coming from other states. Many of you recall that we passed the bill on interstate medical licensure compact in 2019. At this time, there are still 15 states and 2 territories that are not participating in the compact, which means that our medical board does not have full access to the information from those states regarding pending disciplinary investigations. There is no dental licensure compact. This amendment allows our medical and dental boards to thoroughly vet applicants coming from other states in order to protect the public. Thank you, Mr. President. Happy to take questions.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 36th for a question.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Yield.
Yes.
I'm familiar with the compact language that you've worked on diligently to get passed around professions in a number of states being in a compact and an agreement around accepting practitioners between those states based on a compact that's drawn up and is pretty specific and elaborate. Now, this does not represent a compact, does it? This is more just throw open the gates and come on in, the water's fine. I don't mean your amendment. I think your amendment improves the bill, but it improves it for 3 professions. Why would we need this? Where does this fall short of the very sound compact legislation that you've done for professions?
Well, as you know, Senator, the compacts are done kind of one profession at a time.
That's right.
So we passed the medical compact. We've passed one on physical therapy. There's one on nursing. There are a couple more pending out there. And so what the compact bills do is allow the states in the compact to share information back and forth so that we have access to the records from the other states.
That's very clear. And this legislation here would have a state, Georgia, potentially being in the dark about what went on with that person coming from another state if you don't have access, such as the compacts established. So this is really throw the gates open without the ability to have the full information that you might need to vet a professional coming from another state. This is not the compact language. This falls far short of the approach that you've been crafting.
Is there a question there, Senator?
Yeah, I'm asking you, is this falls short of the compact language, right? It doesn't have the protections that a compact
Senator,
has.
as you know, being in the healthcare profession, I tend to deal with patient safety issues, and that is why I limited my amendment to this particular group of professionals.
Thank you. I think the amendment is an improvement, and the bill needs a lot more work besides that. Thank you.
Does the senator continue to yield?
Sure.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 40th for a question.
Thank you. Does the senator yield?
Sure, happy to.
So yes, seeing these professions listed in this amendment gets me wondering about other professions where there can be a real safety issue to a patient. So like my professional background is social work. So I'm wondering about like licensed clinical social workers who do therapy, mental health therapy. And so I'm wondering, is that an area where you would want this more lengthy, compact type language rather than this bill?
Well, Senator, as I said, I was really focused on the issues that I was most familiar with because I had carried the medical licensure compact bill previously, and so I didn't address any other professions. I'm sure the author of the bill could speak to that.
Okay, thank you.
Senator, you have no more questions.
Thank you, I yield.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 6th to speak to the bill, Senate Bill 45.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think the questions really illuminate the real problem with the bill, which is that when you talk about professional licensure, you're talking about every profession in the state of Georgia in terms of professionals who have to get licensure here. So whether you're talking about a barber or a cosmetologist, or whether you're talking about a licensed clinical therapist, whether you're talking about an attorney, and this is incredibly broad. And the whole idea that someone can be outside of the state, not have to have the training, the experience, pass the same tests as the people in this state have to do in order to practice law, to be a clinical socialist, whatever it is, just doesn't seem like really good public policy to me. And so I think that the intent behind the bill is good, but I definitely think that there are some unintended consequences if this passes that could impact lots of people, lots of working people, lots of businesses in this state.
Senator has yielded the well. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against Senate Bill 45 or the amendments? The chair sees none. We'll take up amendment number 1 first. Is there objection to adoption of amendment number 1 from the senator from the 14th? Chair hears none, and amendment number 1 is adopted. We'll now take up amendment number 2. The questions on the adoption of amendment number 2 from the senator from the 32nd. Is there objection? Chair hears none, and amendment number 2 is adopted. The questions on the adoption of the committee substitute as amended. Is there objection to adoption of the committee substitute as amended? Chair hears none, and the committee substitute as amended is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. Questions on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor of the bill vote yea. Opposed, nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. Have all senators voted? Have all senators voted? Mr. Secretary, please close the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 37, the nays are 15. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed by substitute. Mr. Secretary, can you please read the caption to Senate Bill 53?
Senate Bill 53 by Senators Huff-Settler of the 52nd and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 25 of Title 50 of the OCGA relating to the Georgia Technology Authority so as to provide such authority with the power and duty to establish standards for state agencies, website design, navigation, and accessibility. The Senate Committee on Science and Technology recommends that this bill do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Dolezal of the 27th. Senate Science and Technology Committee offers the following substitute to Senate Bill 53. to amend Chapter 25 of Title 50 of the OCGA relating to the Georgia Technology Authority so as to provide such authority with power and duty to establish standards for state agencies, website design, navigation, and accessibility. This completes the order, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes the distinguished senator from Rome to speak to Senate Bill 53.
Whatever. Thank you, Mr. President. This bill attempts to bring better consistency to our websites in the state of Georgia. When I do these kind of things, I never have bright ideas, whether it's surprise billing or marketplace facilitator. I find somebody else that did it right. In this case, it was the state of Utah who did this several years ago and seems to have a pretty good, consistent website that has a straightforward design. The images have alternative text, relative font sizing, good navigation, style sheets, layout, multimedia, hypertext links, and also importantly, accessibility to the handicapped. And so this bill is mirrored after what they did. The additional thing that this bill does is under the definition of agency that would have this consistency done by the Georgia Technology Authority. It would now also include our constitutional officers so that all our websites have a consistent layout. And we want it to be, as I said, accessible to different handicaps, to have security, to be data there that can be used to make data-driven decisions, mobile devices work on it, things like that. And so that's the bill I present today that would help get all the websites of Georgia continuing in this direction. There are some standards called WCAG, federal standards that Utah met with their new website, and this would have us do the same thing. And if there's no questions, I'll yield the well.
Senator, you have no questions.
Thank you. I ask for your favorable consideration.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against Senate Bill 53? Chair sees none. The question is on the adoption of the committee substitute. Is there objection to adoption of the committee substitute? Chair hears none, and the committee substitute is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none, and the main question is ordered. Questions on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor of the bill vote yea. Opposed nay. The Secretary will unlock the machine. Have all senators voted? Mr. Secretary, please close the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 52, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed by substitute. Chair recognizes the majority leader for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate stand adjourned until 10 o'clock on Wednesday, February 17, 2021.
Mr. Secretary, can you please read the announcements?
The Rules Committee will meet upon adjournment in room 450. Higher Education Committee will meet at 1 p.m. in room 450. Insurance and Labor Committee will meet at 1 p.m. in mezzanine 1. The Health and Human Services Committee is canceled. Public Safety Committee will meet at 2:15 in mezzanine 1. Regulated Industries and Utilities will meet at 3:30 in room 450. Transportation Committee is canceled. This completes the order.
Do any senators have an announcement? Chair sees none. The majority leader has moved that the Senate stand adjourned. Chair recognizes the pro tem. We're going to recognize the pro tem for the purpose of introducing the doctor of the day. Better late than never.
Missed it by that much. Mr. President, it's a great honor for me to be able to introduce the doctor of the day. It's Dr. Andrew Reisman. Dr. Reisman is downstairs, as you all well know. If you have an ailment, if you have an illness, if you're not feeling good, please go by and see him. Dr. Reisman graduated from University of Miami Medical School. He did his residency at University of Maryland. He is a past president of the Medical Association of Georgia. He serves on the Medical Composite Board currently. He's a 2008 graduate of the Leadership Academy for the Medical Association of Georgia. He resides in Gainesville and works with what I would consider to be one of the preeminent healthcare organizations in the state. Independent Docs is a Longstreet Clinic, and he has been with them for many, many years. He and his wife, Elizabeth, have 3 children, Robert, Charlie, and Caroline. How could I forget Charlie? Robert, Caroline, and Charlie. And all those things you can find out about Dr. Reisman from Google. But what I want to tell you about Dr. Reisman is he is a caring and compassionate individual and a great member of society and a great member of the medical community. And thank you, Mr. President, for letting me introduce the doctor of the day. And also want to remind everyone to get your test done on Thursday morning. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
That was very impressive. To know his entire biography with no notes, you're either really good friends or have a photographic memory. And I think this room knows what the answer to that question is. Chair recognizes the senator from the 40th for an announcement.
Good morning, women of the Senate. The Women's Legislative Council meets today. Come by room 216 to pick up a box lunch if you've paid your dues. The topic today is the incidence of domestic violence and how the pandemic has affected that situation. Our speaker is the Executive Director of the Georgia Commission on Domestic Violence. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 28th for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to point everyone's attention to Mitchell Street. You'll see a school bus out there. That is actually an all-electric vehicle school bus. And I would invite everyone to go take a tour and see what they got going on. It's a Norcross-based, Georgia-based company that has provided that bus out there for everyone to take a look at. So on your way back over to CLOB or on over to a committee hearing, please stop by and see the bus. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 17th.
Does Senator yield?
Yes, I'll yield during an announcement.
Senator, how many children are on that school bus?
Well, once you step foot on there will be one. I yield.
Well played, Senator. Well played. All right, we're going to move on. Chair recognizes the senator from the 33rd for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow's Ash Wednesday, and Ron Bill will be offering ashes to anyone who wants it. So if you see me tomorrow, I did wash my face. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. The majority leader has moved that the Senate stand adjourned until Wednesday, February 17th, 2021 at 10 a.m. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Senate stands adjourned.